It's so annoying. I really want Bleu de Chanel. I've never owned Bleu de Chanel. It's like the gold standard of blue fragrances. I'd guess Bleu de Parfum will just have to do today instead. Yes, good morning. It is time to do another fitness fragrance review. It's freezing out there. We're in the middle of May. I'm still wearing hat and gloves. And today, though, we are reviewing another cheapy clone fragrance. And it is Bleu de Parfum. Obviously, a clone of Bleu de Chanel. Bleu de Chanel, one of the most popular blue fragrances out there. For me, it is, as I just said, the gold standard of blue fragrances. I think Dior Sauvage is probably the one that's the most popular. But if you're someone who's really into fragrances, wants something that a little bit more grown up with a bit of incense in it, I do think Bleu de Chanel is just that little bit better. But I'm really interested to see what this one's like today. So this is another 35ml travel fragrance, essentially by Fragrance Kingdom. If you haven't seen already, recently I've been doing a couple more reviews. I did one yesterday. I did one of 1 billion, which is obviously a clone of 1 million. And yeah, they've been kind of a little bit hit and miss so far. But yeah, they're interesting. They're not too bad. I have to say I've been quite impressed in terms of the smells they've done. I did Invictus yesterday, and that one did smell like it, but the performance has been what's let them down. So I'm hoping today, this one with the nice weather we've got today, will be perfect for my workout, and it will get some good scores. If you haven't seen these videos before, essentially I'm going to do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while wearing this fragrance. And we'll rank it on 5 categories. So it's price slash value for money, its versatility, so how much you can use it in different situations, projections, how much it fills up a room. We'll do a room spray test later and just see how much I notice it during my run. We'll also look at compliment factor. Do I think you can get compliments with this? And its longevity, where I'll spray my arm before I go to the gym, do my workout. A few hours will go by and we'll just see if we can still smell the fragrance. But let's apply this one and we'll just talk about Bleu de Chanel and obviously this clone of it as we do that. I actually haven't sprayed this one for my brothers before, so these are his, by the way, these aren't mine. But if you don't know Bleu de Chanel, it's a very well-known phrase. I think that incense base is one of the most popular things about it, but there's loads of woods in this. You've got a bit of a zesty citrus opening with a little bit of lemon there. There's actually jasmine in the original Bleu de Chanel as well. Sandalwood, obviously very popular. Vetiver, incense cedar. And what it's kind of is, this fragrance, is it just smells exactly... It smells like Bleu de Chanel, but on a much, much cheaper level, of course. But it's one of those scents where, again, it's been cloned, it's been copied so many times that you could go to a real cheap local shop and they might have like £3 or £4 fragrances, and there's probably a good chance one of them will have this kind of scent DNA because it's just so familiar and so popular. It's kind of youthful, sporty, but there is that element of sophistication in the base, which I can see why an older gentleman may prefer this one, say, to a Dior Sauvage. It's not quite as sweet, I would say. It's a little bit more dark, and it is very nice. It is a very nice scent DNA. That's why it's so popular, whether it's been overdone or not. That's why there's plenty of clones for it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out for my workout now. We'll do first 2 categories. So we're going to look at the price slash value for money for Bleu de Parfum and also its versatility. Oh, what a lovely morning it is today. Look at that completely blue sky, which means it is perfect to be wearing a blue fragrance. And that is what we're doing this morning. We are wearing Bleu de Parfum, so the clone of Bleu de Chanel by Fragrance Kingdom here. So, price slash value for money for this one. The travel spray kind of seems to be they're all the same price for their clones. It's about £5 to £7 for 35ml. You can also get a 250ml body mist for this one. Again, it's kind of in that £7 to £8 range, and that's like more like a body spray than an actual perfume. It's not like an eau de toilette like this one is. So do I think for this 35ml travel spray, £7 is worth it? Well, again, first thing you're going to think when you're buying this is, does it actually smell like Bleu de Chanel? And yes, I'd probably say 80 to 85% the same. It does smell like that, but what it is, it's almost like Bleu de Chanel that's gone through a massive weight loss. It's almost like it's been completely stripped away of all its body and all its weight, because this is the first thing that came to my mind, the first word that I could describe this one is characterless. Yes, it does smell like it, but there's nothing about it that makes me think, oh, this is really good. The performance is particularly weak, and I've had a lot of like general blue fragrances around that £5 to £10 range. I've got Police Blue Extreme, which is a very nice fragrance. There's a one called Jaguar Pace, which you can get, again, it's around that £10 to £11 range. And they've just got a bit more kick about them, a bit more oomph. And when I've had clones of Bleu de Chanel or Dior Sauvage, I've paid sort of £24, £25 from the Essence Vault. They just smell like they've got a bit more kick about them, a bit more body, where you could buy them and almost not buy the original Bleu de Chanel. So while this is very cheap and you're not going to feel ripped off because it is so cheap, it is exactly what I would pay for it. I wouldn't pay any more than £5 to £10 for this because there's nothing about it. And the thing I kind of compared it to is I went shopping in Primark a few years ago to buy some white t-shirts to kind of go with my cardigans because I thought it would look good as an underlayer. And I remember coming out because I bought a bundle of 5 because they were like 5 cotton white t-shirts for £3. And I feel like that's kind of what you do here. You just buy this one more because it's so cheap and you get like 5 or 6 of them. Rather than actually thinking there's anything stylish or quality about it, you'd almost just go, yeah, I'll get that because I can put it in my bag. Rather than thinking I can get that because it smells like Bleu de Chanel or it's got that nice blue DNA and it can, be used as a top-up spray to support the original. It just isn't that. It's an afterthought fragrance for me, this one, and it's really underwhelming. It's just got no body about it, no character. And for that reason, I'm going to go price test value for money 5 out of 10. That you're not going to feel ripped off because it is super cheap, but it does feel super cheap. And yeah, when there's other clones out there of this fragrance in multiple numbers and others that have this scent profile, I think I'd be leaning towards them because they've got a bit more character about them. This one so far, it's got absolutely nothing. So moving on to versatility then for Bleu de Parfum. How much can you dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, I think this is going to be the one where it does the best today in terms of a score, because this scent DNA, just taking out obviously how weak and cheap it feels, this scent DNA is so versatile. What you've got in the opening, you've got a bit of those sort of citrus notes, a little bit of lemon. In the middle of the fragrance, you've got a bit of jasmine, that kind of nice lighter white florals. And then in the base, you've also got, you've got Isoe Super, which of course is what kind of gives it that blue fragrance DNA alongside the musk that's in this fragrance. Gives a nice clean vibe. But then to counter that, you have got incense, you've got a bit of sandalwood, you've got a bit of cedar, so you've got a bit of woods there, and an element of smokiness, which gives it that bit more sophistication, a bit more of a grown-up feel, maybe compared to a Dior Sauvage, which means in those more dress-up situations as well, you can rock this. But, it's just as good on a morning like today where you're just going out for a run, you're going to the gym, again, you might be going straight onto work after. And that's great because it means you only then need to kind of buy one fragrance that can do literally every job. And that's why these fragrances, these blue fragrances, have been so popular over the years. And this one is no exception. I think where this one does fall down is not so much its scent DNA, but in a dress-up situation, if I was wearing this one with a suit and tie, I don't think anyone's going to notice it. I don't think you're going to notice it either. Look, the good thing is with this, I guess, in terms of the size of the bottle, you could easily slip it in a pocket and spray as you go along. But there's no way you'd want this one on its own. You'd want the original, Bleu de Chanel or a stronger clone to kind of give you that bit of strength before you go. And then maybe slip this one in your pocket just to kind of keep you smelling nice throughout the whole evening. I think though this scent, this clone one, is certainly more better for what I'm doing this morning, going for a run where it's not going to be too heavy, not going to be too cloying. And, ultimately you're not going to shake yourself out or anyone else around you. That's where it's going to work best. But, you could certainly wear this like, all seasons, all ages. Again, I think it's much more of a masculine scent, but I've actually smelt women at the gym wearing this one as well recently, which is really bizarre. But wherever you go, whether you've been to the shops, whether you've gone on holiday, whether you're at a work office, at a job, gym, wherever, you'll recognise this scent. It is everywhere, and that speaks volumes of how popular this DNA is. And while this clone's a bit weak, it certainly still has that versatility about it because it is pretty similar to the originals. The versatility here is very good, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason I've knocked it down a bit is because I don't think that smoky incense really kicks through in this fragrance because it's so watered down, where I feel like then it's a little bit more limited in those situations where you want to dress up maybe and make more of a statement. But yeah, still, that's going to be its strongest round, I'm pretty certain today, and it does feel pretty good for this run so far this morning. But when we get back, we'll talk about projection, how much I'm noticing it or not during my run. So workout done, hair is a mess. I really need a haircut, but I'm holding out till holiday. It's now time to test for projection then for Bleu de Parfum. So I'm doing a room spray test now essentially. So we do 10 sprays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I kind of just really want to see how much this fragrance fills up a room. So if this was a work office and a colleague came in, would they notice it? Would they detect that you're wearing a fragrance? Or again, this is my room at home. Would a family member, a friend, if they came in, would they notice the fragrance that I've got it on? So what I'll do in the meantime, let that sit for 10 minutes, go down, have a drink, and yeah, we'll talk about how much I noticed the projection of that fragrance during my run. So yeah, I'll see you down there. Almost forgot. I haven't done my longevity spray, so it's literally gone. 10 past 9. Going to spray my arm 3 times on each side. And essentially, when I walk to the gym, do my workout, have a shower, I won't be applying this fragrance again. So 3 hours will go by in that time. And we'll see once I come out the shower, leave the gym around 12:15, if we can still smell that fragrance. Right, we are heading down now. Cup of green tea. I love it. So let's talk about this fragrance and let's talk about Bleu de Parfum. I do love these names, I have to say. They're so copying. Projection. How much did I notice it during my workout? Well, I think I noticed it once. I'm going to say this. I'll put this coat in the wash. So there can't be any other phrase other than the washing sort of linen that's, being used in there. But one thing I did notice, it was about sort of 20 minutes to go. I thought, oh, I picked up a fragrance there, but it was so tame, it was so weak, and it went so quickly that I couldn't have been absolutely certain it was my fragrance. Maybe it was someone who'd just gone by me. Maybe it was, don't know. I smelled someone wearing Paco Rabanne 1 million, actually, a gentleman probably in about his 50s. So that was a bit of a surprise as well. But that's where I'm not 100% sure. Was this fragrance being smelled on me? Was it coming from another source just in the air? Someone walked by on a bike or whatever. I didn't particularly notice anyone. But yeah, it was very hard to tell if it was that fragrance. But since I've applied it on my arm, I've noticed it has got a little bit better performance, I think, so far than what I noticed with the other ones that I've tried so far from Fragrance Kingdom. Do I think that's going to be enough to fill a room, though? No, I don't. The notes in this, there's nothing too vanillic and too sweet. It's not that sort of fragrance. They normally tend to do better in terms of filling up a room, so I'm expecting absolutely nothing here. But you never know. I'm a little bit more hopeful than the other two, so I'll finish this drink, we'll head upstairs, and then we'll give our score. Okay, up we go. Oh, legs are stiff. Ugh. Probably should have started filming while I got up the stairs rather than this old age catching up with me. Well, nothing I can smell at the top of the stairs. In we go. If I'm being honest, there might be something, but I think if I hadn't sprayed it and I was going into my brother's room, he's put it on, I don't think I'd actually notice anything at all. I think it's more a case of subconsciously, I know I've sprayed a fragrance 10 minutes ago. There's nothing really here. There's nothing really here. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, and that's just purely on the fact that I think I noticed it on my run a little bit. Otherwise, it would just be nothing, because there really is nothing here with this fragrance, and that's what's such a shame about it. It just feels like it's, as I said, it's almost like Bleu de Chanel has gone on a weight loss journey. It's taken all the character away from it, and it's underwhelming. But I will be wearing it obviously at the gym, as you saw, and yeah, I don't expect any compliments, but we'll talk about compliment factor as we head to the gym on our walk, and yeah, let's hope someone noticed it today anyway. Okay then, so on to compliment factor 4, Bleu de Parfum. Do I think it is a compliment getting sent? Well, again, I have to say, with all clone phrases, there's a reason they're being cloned. That is probably because they've been extremely popular, because people have had nice comments about them, and that's why sales are very high on the original Bleu de Chanel. The biggest issue with this one isn't so much its scent DNA. I actually really like the smell of Bleu fragrances. I know some people are not a big fan of them because they're so overused, and they don't smell particularly natural. They smell high quality, like an Acqua di Parma, for example. But for me personally, someone who wears a lot of sporty gear, I'm a young adult, that's kind of perfect for me. It kind of suits my personality, and that probably influences my decision. And I just think with this one, the reason it wouldn't particularly get compliments is it's so tame. It is so tame. I'm barely noticing it again already. And again, because so many people smell it, particularly a lot of young adults, would you go out your way to compliment someone with this fragrance? I think this one would work best is, say you sit in a home in a more intimate setting with someone, it's not too cloying, sometimes even like the weak 1 million clone that I tried the other day, the 1 billion one, that one's got spicy, and to be honest, even that, even if it's not very strong, that spice, I just don't think it's very nice when you're just sitting. You just want to sit in a more cozy, casual setting. Whereas I think this one is absolutely perfect for that, which gives it a little bit more hope. You know, if you're spraying on a hoodie, someone may be saying a nice comment about it more at home, but it's not going to be used in any sort of night out clubbing situation. It's far too tame for that, and it's probably only going to be used as a supplement to a stronger fragrance, maybe the original Bleu de Chanel or a better clone of this one. But it's definitely got mass appeal about it, so I'm not going to be too harsh on this one. I'm going to go, I think I gave 8 out of 10 from Victory. I'm going to give this one slightly more, 8.5. I think this scent DNA is more popular at the moment than the Invictus one and the 1 million one. I think those ones are kind of being phased out and blue fragrances are just taking over. And I think that just gives it that little bit of extra edge. Honestly, it's such a familiar smell. It's getting very tame already. But it is very nice. You cannot fault it. Yes, I said, everyone likes following trends. Let's be honest, haircuts and all those things. People like a trend where everyone, if they know some people like that hairstyle, they try and copy it. Their favourite celebrity wears a certain clothes, they try and copy it. And it's the same with this fragrance. And I think even if people may not mention it so much, it's very approachable. And that does tick a lot of boxes when it comes to compliments. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Of course, if we do get in the gym today, bump up to a 10. So it's about 10 past 12, which means it's about 3 hours since I applied Bleu de Parfum. Can I still spend it now? I've done my workout and I've had a shower. Oh, it is extremely faint. I wouldn't even say it's 10%. Can't smell it on my left arm, just a little bit on my right. It's about, yeah, 5% as strong as it was. But I'll be honest with you, while I was doing my workout, so you saw me sniffing my hand while I was on the treadmill, it was actually pretty strong. It was probably stronger than the other two, but maybe because it's a blue fragrance, it's not quite as spicy as, you know, the 1 billion fragrance. It hasn't got maybe as much complexity as in Victory, the Invictus clone. Maybe that's probably why it hasn't lasted quite as long, but I did enjoy it with the gym. It was much more pleasant. It's a very nice scent profile, but it's not going to get you through the day. Its longevity is poor, but of course, what do I expect? I have had a shower. It is actually quite warm now. It's starting to warm up. I didn't really have any high expectations for this. It's there, and it's the one that feels, for me personally, the most pleasant of the three fragrances that I've tried so far from Fragrance Kingdom. So I can't unfortunately give it a good score on longevity here because it is barely noticeable. But of course, if I wasn't doing a workout, I think it would be at that sort of 15-20% as strong. But I don't think it's going to last any more than maybe 1 to 2 hours, and then it will be pretty much a skin scent. So I'm going to give it, we'll go 4 out of 10, just because it wasn't too bad while I was on the treadmill. But since I warmed up, and again, if you're in a situation where you're in like an office or you're doing anything on a hot day, where I still think this fragrance is more suited to that daytime and slightly warmer weather, it's not going to last. So yeah, 4 out of 10. It's not too bad. I think that's what you'd expect for a fragrance around this price range. But what we're going to do, we're going to head back, we'll count up all the scores, and yeah, I'll give my overall thoughts. We are back. Yes, finally back. It's actually back a little while, to be honest with you. It's just gone 5 past 2. I have done 44,041 steps, all while wearing today Bleu de Parfum. So, yes, the Bleu de Chanel clone by Fragrance Kingdom. So, what was the total score based on those 5 rounds we did? Drum roll. Not very good. 28.5 out of 50. That's one of my lowest scores here. And really what it's been marked down on when we look at the categories today is pretty much just the performance. You know, it got 2 for projection with the room spray test. Didn't really notice it at all. And longevity, it did okay. Got 4. But it's flat. And, you know, I'm just looking at some of my Essence Hall clone phrases. Bleu de Chanel, you'll find clones out there. You know, I can't specifically say, you know, what an Essence Hall number it would be off the top of my head. But it's such a popular scent that there are so many. And this one basically almost just feels like it wants to hide in the background, really. And as I said, so far from the 3 Fragrance Kingdom ones I've smelt, they all smell fine and they smell like the fragrance, but it's just nothing about them. They're just so watered down. And it's a shame. You're almost like spraying it more and more and more to just try and get more and more performance. But it does. It just literally, like the second I just sprayed that, then it's there, but you can already see my nose is buried into it. And you'll know, people who have had strong fragrances, you wouldn't be able to do that with a strong one normally. You know, it'd set you off sneezing or it'd burn your nostrils. This, it just feels a little bit watered down. But I really do like this scent DNA, and I think that's maybe what's irritated me more with it. I'm sort of asking for it to show me some body, some personality, and yeah, this one just doesn't have it. And so far, the Fragrance Kingdom ones, I really don't recommend. I personally think with clone fragrances at the moment, just from my initial experience, go for those well-known clone brands, because if you really like a scent that much, then I think it's always worth it, because ultimately they're still quite cheap. You know, in general, you're saving £200-300 on some of those like Tom Ford fragrances by just getting a slightly more expensive £20-25 clone. And that's the thing now, clones are competing against each other as much as they are the big name fragrances they're copying. And yeah, this isn't one for me that particularly stands out, but I think my brother's got a couple more. Hopefully they'll prove me right. I think there's definitely one more I'd like to do, so maybe we'll go on with that one tomorrow as well, because yeah, we need to try and get a positive one. I feel like so far I've been super negative with these, and I don't want to be. I really don't want to be. But if you're asking me, would I buy them? I wouldn't, and I don't. For that reason, I'm not going to recommend them at the moment. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one today. Again, plenty more fitness fragrance reviews to come. I'm going to hopefully nick that one. He's off work tomorrow, but I'll find a way of sneaking it in somehow. But yeah, thanks for watching today. I'll catch you later.